Now, I just read on the dismal non-farm payroll stats that just came out, I think yesterday, that the unemployment rate somehow dropped again to 7.2%, I believe. I've said this so many times, but I have to say it again because I'm always getting new subscribers every single day. May have never heard me say this. A few years ago, just a few, the unemployment rate, food stamp rate, or how many people on food stamps, was around 24 or so million. Today, it is pretty much touching 50 million, 48 to 50 million people. A few years later, it has absolutely doubled. And you're trying to tell me that the unemployment rate, on the other hand, has not doubled or gotten even worse than that. So it says, it expires October 31st. So the month of November, which possibly means the first day of December, I guess, when those food stamps come out, they are cutting them. So it says on average, family is getting about $275 per household every month for a family of 4. And starting here shortly, they will be taking in $36 less per month. And someone says, every week it's a struggle, as it is. Said Heidi Leno, who lives in Concord with her husband, 9-year-old daughter, and twin 5-year-olds. We hate living paycheck to paycheck, and you have to decide what gets paid. This is something I've said a long time ago, so that kind of brought back a little memory. And I said when these times start coming our way, and it starts to affect almost everybody, you're going to see people having to pick and choose what gets paid and what doesn't. And let me tell you what's going to get paid, whether they have food stamps or not. What's going to get paid is going to the grocery store and going to the gas station to get gasoline in their car because they got to go to work if they have a job. They're going to have that. They're going to have food to eat. Again, with or without food stamps, doesn't matter. Those will get paid. Then they're going to notice this whole time that they've been struggling, they've been tapping that credit card, hoping and praying that things will just get a little bit better. I know the United States keeps telling me the unemployment rate's getting better, job situation's getting better, housing's getting better, everything's getting better. Now, I can't really see that, but everybody's saying it, so it has to be happening. So if I can just hold out a little bit longer, I'll use this credit card, I'll use it some more, until the day comes, because my government's been telling me it's here, so it's got to be coming to me shortly, that things are definitely better. And then I can start paying that credit card off because I'll have a better job, etc., etc., etc. Or maybe I'll find a job if you didn't have one. And they're finding out, using that credit card, use the credit card some more, use another credit card, grab another credit card, and they've been racking up credit card debt this whole time. Only to find out that things are slowly eroding away and getting worse. And now their food stamp money is going to get cut even more. So, what gets paid and what doesn't? Again, the food gets paid, gasoline in their truck gets paid, family matters type of things get paid. That credit card they've been using this whole time, they're going to start realizing, I'm just making the minimum payment now. I've been using it and been making the minimum payment for the longest time now, which virtually means that money, that $36 a month that is now getting cut out of our food stamps, I've been making my minimum payment on the credit card, and it's virtually gone nowhere because I haven't been able to make the interest. I'm only making the interest payment basically. The principal is staying the same, so I've been throwing away an extra $100 a month paying on this credit card, and I'm not even knocking it down. I thought I would do that because I believed in my country, my Congress, my president, the news, the media, everybody, that what they said to me was true. And here it is that it's not true, it's worse. Now I can't afford to make this credit card payment because I got to come up with an additional $36 a month to supplement the food stamp supplements that I was getting. And I got to start picking and choosing. And what old J Step 4 said long ago was that people will stop making payments on credit and debt. That would mean credit cards, that sort of thing. It will also mean mortgage payments. That will also come into play here regardless. They can try all they want to start with the credit cards. Okay, that helped. We're defaulting on the credit cards. That definitely helped. And then they'll notice the food stamp gets cut again. And then something else. And then meanwhile, the gas prices and the food prices, that stuff is not going down. Huh. Interesting. What else can we cut? Well, we got 2 cell phones. Let's cut off your cell phone. Okay, cut off my cell phone. Things get a little worse. Food stamps get cut a little more. Now what? Can't cut off yours. We have to have at least 1 phone. Long story short, I've heard of all these people not making payments on their houses. These banks did this to us anyways. That's who's caused this problem. Meanwhile, the government's been lying to us, telling us it wasn't the banks, and it was just this little recovery's in place, and the housing's better. It's not better. And damn it, I've had enough. I don't care what happens. I'm not making the mortgage payment. And then all of a sudden, they've got plenty of money to spend. So that's how I see this going. It's not going to happen all at once, but that's where it's creeping into. And here's another mindset of someone in the same situation that was in this article. Let me scroll down here. Quote, Jennifer Donald, a mother of 3 in Philadelphia, said she counts on the family's $460 monthly benefits to put food on the table. Quote, I was mad and devastated and a little bit confused because we need our benefits, she said. This is the way we eat right now. Live a day in our life before you can cut our benefits. So then we have the handouts, the handout entitlement mindset. What's mine? I deserve it. It's ours. Don't you touch it. It was never yours to begin with. It was given to you for free. However, there's always 2 sides to a coin. There are tons of people in her situation who feel identical to the way she just voiced her concern. And then when you read that, your first instinct is, hey, I'm paying for that. I have a job. I pay taxes. I'm the one paying for that. So before you get all pissy that we can't pay you what we used to pay you, suck it up and deal with it. Who the hell do you think you are to ask for entitlements? You're not paying into the system anymore. Now you're sucking off of it. Having said that, is someone allowed to be human and live? With children, especially, right? Is someone allowed to live in the United States of America, the alleged greatest country, largest economy on the face of the earth, world's reserve currency, biggest democratic leader of the free world? Men want to be us and women want us type of a country. Don't you think that would be automatic? That anyone that struggles in the country that I just described to you, of epic proportions of awesomeness, wouldn't that be a side effect that we already taken care of? Hey, if anyone loses their job, you live in America, oh, you're covered. We got you. Biggest economy in the world, biggest debt in the world. Wait a minute. Biggest economy, biggest loudmouth, biggest flag waver, we're the best. But also the most indebted in the world. Now hold on a minute, let me go back to the first example. That person who was in debt used credit card, another credit card, another credit card. Things will get better. Let me just keep using that. When they get better, then I'll pay it off. Only to find out I can't pay it off, now I got a default. Scratching their head. Isn't that kind of the same situation I just described to you that our country's in? More debt, 9 trillion, 12 trillion, 13 trillion, 14 trillion, 15, 16, 17 plus trillion. We're all scratching our heads? Nope. Ain't no American scratching their heads. Everything's fine. This one single American is scratching his head. How could things be fine? We're racking up debt upon more debt. 15 trillion, 16 trillion, 17 trillion. Just the other day, when they stopped the government shutdown and passed the bozo legislation that gave us another 2 months, basically, $328 billion was issued immediately in to take care of all that. And we have now added $328 billion to the debt. Like that. So, people in this country should have a right to lean on the government, the country, etc. for help when they need it. When they don't have a job, they're trying to find a job, can't find a job, etc. So before we get pissed off at those people who have the entitlement mentality, as she said, live a day in her shoes before you try to cut her benefits. First feelings when I read that is, who the hell does this lady think she is? After taking the emotions out of it, looking at the situation, understanding our country is a fraud, the politicians are a fraud, we've been lied to the whole damn time, then you can't really argue with her. Should we throw her out in the streets? Hey lady, go find a job. Get the hell out of here. Who the hell do you think you are, entitlement nation? Get out of here. What if she's been trying the entire time, desperately, every day, every week, every month, to find a job because those supplemental money from the government, from food stamps, doesn't quite do anything. Barely, well, it does, but barely. And she's thinking, I'm struggling badly. Thank you, it helps. It barely helps, but it does. I'm trying desperately to find a job because any job is better than this. Only to find out I cannot get a freaking job. So if that's the situation, you cannot blame the person for saying, don't touch. It's already bad enough. I can barely feed my family as it is. You know, please don't take a penny away from it, much less $36 a month on average. In her case, it was more money, probably more like $50. But this is our country. This is where we're heading. When Lindsey Williams said, you will be so poor, the average American citizen will be so poor that when they finally realize what these elitists have done, they won't be able financially to go and protest, to go somewhere and throw a fit. They will only be concerned about, how am I going to get food on my table next? Don't bother me with that politician vote. Nah, I got to figure out how to get food on the table. They're cutting my food stamps. That's all I care about. Well, you better care about the political side too, because when you don't care about that side, it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. Matter of fact, just take a look. Has anything got better under Democratic leadership? And I mean, from the president being a Democrat to the Congress to the Senate, throughout history, we have absolutely had completely Democratic and completely Republican leadership. And even if it was a little bit of mixed in there, which there always is, they have the numbers to always pass legislation that they want. Has the country gotten better or worse under Democratic leadership? It's gotten worse. Same question about the Republican leadership. Has it gotten better or worse? It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. The number one and only thing you need to ever look at, if someone brings that up to you and they're trying to argue against it, well, when the Democrats were... Hold on. Stop, bozo. Stop with the left-right. There's no such thing. Did the national debt, the now 17 point whatever trillion we owe, did it go down, or does it just continually go up? And I'm not talking about finding the 1 month where somehow in American history it actually blipped down for a split second and then jumped back up, massively the next month. I'm talking about anywhere in a chart that you could pull up year by year by year by year. Are you ever going to see the national debt in 1 year went down? And then Republicans took over, they went to spend. Or Democrats took over and they went to spend. No, it can't. The Federal Reserve System is designed so it can't, because they only print the money that the country uses and attach interest to the money. The interest is never printed. Therefore, you will be in perpetual debt the rest of your lives until it gets so high and compounds so high that you can't even barely, or if it continues higher, you won't be able to make the interest payment alone. So, we're making the interest payment. We've been able to do that. But we're at $17 trillion in debt, which almost has now doubled since Barack Obama took office. Again, it doesn't matter if McCain won in 2008. There would be not a damn thing different. Not a single thing different. Because the Federal Reserve System was still in place then, it's in place now, and interest is compounding, and we're borrowing just as much as we did before, and more and more and more. We're growing more and more. We need more money. So, the point is, from the amount of time it takes to double our national debt is shrinking. Where it used to take years and years and years and years and years and years and a decade or 2 decades just to double the debt. 2 decades, 20 years easily. Has now taken a few years. So the next president in 2016, we might be at $30 trillion by 2020. Like it's nothing. And when it's that high, are we going to be able to make the national debt payment? No way. So as you can tell, as Lindsey Williams said, and as Ben Bernanke himself said in 2002, head of the Federal Reserve, back then he wasn't, but he did make the same comment, which was that we will default on the dollar. We will devalue the dollar. And that's how you get out of the debt. You devalue the dollar, instantly what you owe is devalued just as much. So that's how this ends. Food stamp nation, food stamp riots coming to a country near you. When you cut the benefits low enough to where it really, really affects people in a very bad way, you're going to have food stamp riots. And now you know why the Department of Homeland Security was created. They've been on standby the whole time for the last 10 years. They don't do wars, they don't do police work, they don't do FBI work, they don't do CIA work, they don't do DEA work, they don't do border control. Sure, you'll see them at the borders, but they're not actually doing what those other agencies that were already there doing. They are on standby to become America's police force against Americans. That, and then keep this in mind, as we cut food stamps and we cut all this spending on necessary things, the amount of billions and tens of billions, maybe $1 trillion, I don't know how much has been spent on the Department of Homeland Security since 2000. But whatever that number is going to be disturbingly high. And you're going to say to yourself, if we took that money and did something with it for the people in this country, those starving, those needing it, everything would be phenomenally, well, fine, awesome. And the benefits would be way higher to those struggling families. But no, let's not fix the underlying problem. Let's deal with the symptom. We do the same thing with doctors. They don't treat anything. They give you, they just, here's actually it's a treatment. It's not really a cure. They treat everything and don't cure it. Oh, you got a problem? Don't drink and eat healthy. Take a pill. It'll hide the symptom, but it's still there. You're just treating the symptom. It never goes away. So this symptom, the struggling people, will never go away because they're not going to solve the problem. We're going to send money overseas. We just, by the way, sent 1.6, I think, or 1.2 billion to, I think it was Pakistan. Yeah. Same country we allegedly killed old Osama bin Laden. Yeah, right. We're going to give them 1.2 billion. Here you go. Struggling, government shutdown, furlough workers, but we do have 1.6 billion to give you. Matter of fact, we just passed the law. We got plenty to give you. 328 billion worth. Unfreaking believable. Take care.